What's up, guys? Welcome back to Malt Mondays. I hope you're having a great start to the week. I know the best way for me to start my week is with a glass of whiskey, and Mondays are rough. So the one I've got for you today is Glenfiddich 18-year-old. So this is the top of Glenfiddich's regular line. They have the 12, which I did last week, the 15, which is a Solera vat, and then the 18. And now they've additionally added in a couple others. So they have a 14-year-old bourbon barrel. Bourbon barrel. I've got that on my shelf up there as well. They've got the Glenfiddich IPA Experiment and the Glenfiddich 20, or the XX project, which they had their 20 brand ambassadors, their global brand ambassadors, pick out casks, and then they blended those casks or casks similar to that to kind of create a unique whiskey, which is a really cool idea. So today I'm looking at the 18-year-old. I was given this as a gift from my brother for my birthday, so I am enjoying it a lot already. Now, the one thing that I do want to point out, because I've seen people complain about this bottling, is in the United States, at least, it's bottled at 43% ABV. So I believe in certain other markets, I believe Canada gets it at 40% ABV, which is unfortunate, but it depends on where you are, as with almost every whiskey, but I know my bottle is 43% ABV. So this is a small batch reserve, and I think the 18-year-old used to be slightly different, and then they released the small batch reserve as a limited time edition a few years ago, and they've just kept it as that, so that there's a little bit of less consistency to it, but it gives it a little more of like a handmade feel, makes it seem a little more personal, that kind of thing. So it says, carefully matured for 18 years in the finest Oloroso sherry and bourbon casks built by our own expert coopers. So I'm assuming that's just kind of a reference to them using higher quality oak for this than some of their other offerings. And then these casks are nurtured in small batches for a further 3 months for remarkable, deep, rich, and complex flavor. And as always, this is natural coloring because Glenfiddich adds no artificial coloring. And one thing I like about this too is you get an upgraded bottle here compared to the regular offering. So you have a nice wood cork. You have a slightly shorter bottle with a thicker bottom. So it looks a little more premium than the Glenfiddich 12 and 15 do. So let's go ahead and see how this tastes. And we'll put that there. All right. So it's a good bit darker than the 12-year-old, but again, because it's natural coloring, it's not extremely dark. And I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I've talked to the ambassador from the East Coast of the U.S., Tracy, and she told me that the 18-year-old is 80% ex-bourbon and 20% Oloroso sherry. So the 12-year-old is a 90 to 10% split, and this one has twice the sherry influence as that. So let's go ahead and see how it smells. I like the nose on this quite a bit. The first note that I really get is like a baking spice and oak. And it's not quite the like nutmeg, nutty, that kind of spice that I usually get with European oak. I think it's because there's still some of the apple in there. But it's no longer like that green apple. It's more of like a red apple. But it's still got definitely a little bit of a youthful aroma. It doesn't smell crazy oaky on the nose, or really rich. So it's still very light, and I don't mean youthful in a bad way. I mean it's got a light, kind of lively aroma. It doesn't smell like a really old, kind of dusty whiskey, but I still have a hard time picking out the sherry here, even from the 12-year-old. By doubling the amount, I still think it's hard to find. It is there. I can smell it for sure, but I mean, it's really in the background. So we'll see how it tastes. Yeah, that's a good one. It's pretty rich. It's definitely got more flavor than the nose would lead me to believe. It's got a really nice oak balance here. It's not super drying on the mouth. There are some 18-year-old whiskeys that I find a little too tannic for most people. I've had a few people try the Highland Park 18. They find it a little too dry to really be pleasant. That one's one of my all-time favorites. But this is like very well balanced on the oak front. There's a little bit of sherry coming through in the background. Again, it's really underlying the whiskey here. And I can't quite tell if I'm getting chocolate on this or not. I definitely get the red apple, it's almost like not an apple pie, it's not that sweet, but it kind of reminds me of like stewed apple or maybe applesauce. I don't know. Not applesauce. I don't know. I almost can taste chocolate in there. It's like a chocolate dusting or something. Like if you didn't see it on the dish, you might not notice it. So it's there, just barely on the finish. But again, like the 12-year-old, I don't find this a super complex whiskey. Now, that being said, this is cheaper than most of the 18-year-olds that you're going to find. I believe this is about $90 to $100. So for an 18-year-old, you're getting quite a good price. Now, at $90, I think this is pretty well positioned because many of their competitors, other 18-year-olds, are running $120 to $150 and even all the way up to $200 for something like a Macallan 18-year-old or a Dalmore 18. So $90, this is very competitively priced for the age statement. Man, it's just hard though because at $100 you can buy a Balvenie 15-year-old single barrel, which I reviewed last week and the week before that, the two versions of that. And I think those are both better whiskeys than this. Now, this is going to depend on your preference. This is a very light, very easygoing whiskey. If you really like the Glenfiddich 12 and 15, I think you're going to find this one fantastic. I think you're really going to, if that's the style that you like, subtlety, then this is the one you should go for. If you want a really rich flavor, a lot of flavor going on, then you need to look at some other options. But I'm still going to give this a solid B. I think this is good. If I had somewhere between a B and an A, this is good to great whiskey. So I'm going to give this a B. And I would give it a B+, but the problem is there are just other whiskeys at $100 that, even with lower age statements, I think are much more interesting, much better whiskeys than this is. That being said, again, it's going to be your preference. So I'm going to stick with a B on this. I think it's good. I think it's very good whiskey. But you really need to like this style. You need to like this subtle, mild whiskey style. And personally, that's not always what I want. That's what I want sometimes, but a lot of times I want more rich flavors or smoky flavor, whatever it is. The Glenfiddich house style is not my favorite, but that being said, this is my favorite of all the Glenfiddichs. So, as always, please let me know in the comments below what you think of the Glenfiddich 18-year-old. have you had it before, what your thoughts on it are, and I will be doing another video next week. I'm not sure what that review will be, but stay tuned. And the easiest way to do that is subscribe down below and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Cheers.